He didn't have to cover that much ground.
Should say, by the way, quickly,
sort of a little bit at him.
We should say that like we've watched a quarter of this game now. United have been really good.
They have.
I don't know because
nearly.
Villa have just whipped the ball in. Right, what we would say is in the last 5 minutes, Villa have been turning the pressure up a bit. They've had like 4 goals at goal.
Yeah.
So they have been having.
I think what United have done that's smart is they've looked at the fact that they've got the 4th and 5th choice centre back at Villa and they've gone right press. And from the very first whistle, they've pressed on.
That's exactly what Newcastle did.
Yeah.
They couldn't live with it.
But I think now we're seeing what Villa should be doing, which is going fuck it, just go over the top of it and try and take shots at Onana.
It was, to be fair, it was quite close to Onana.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't a good. It was a fast shot, but it wasn't a hard shot.
Camera save, innit?
Yeah,
Camera
it
save.
looked great in the moment. But now Villa are coming. That's a good save by Onana again.
Is that a pen though? Because he was brought down from behind.
He was pushed ever so slightly, but I don't know how bad. I don't know if it was bad enough to give a penalty. The game's gone getting better, like.
Can we just say we got a super chat from Jaws, 25 quid. Thank you very much, Jaws.
Hell.
Shout
Cheers,
out, bro. Thank you very much.
Can you send him my individual bank details as well? If he's that
Come
big?
on.
Let's see what he says first.
That was it. He just gave us 25 quid.
Onana's still on the
Thank
floor.
you very much.
Onana's still on the floor.
It's all for your
I don't know if
quality
he's,
chat, Jacob.
he's struggling here. This was really good football.
Ball, yeah,
Again
he's
with
got to
us.
get onto that a bit quicker.
Oh,
Actually, don't think it was a foul at all in the box there.
Is there a hand on him?
Watkins,
Yeah,
man.
pushed it. Hand was up.
I don't know
Hand
if
was up.
Was it enough though?
I don't know. I think fair play to Watkins for just taking the shot, to be honest.
I think Watkins needs to come across that a little bit sooner.
Yeah, no, I agree.
take it.
He's kind of waited.
Onana's sitting. He's not looking great. Like
What's wrong with him here?
he's talking. I had no idea. He's not making it clear at all.
He looks all right.
Give us a
The
clue.
physio's literally smiling at him. I think.
Give us that, mate.
Point at what it is.
Area of the
You know what
body.
I mean?
Area of the body. Where's hurting?
I feel like he's mum or something.
That's what I do with my toddler.
We'll move on to this bullshit about blue cards because obviously I know you've all heard the sin bin idea and that. They just keep messing on with the game. What do you feel about the table?
I just think VAR's been such a success. Why not? Why not make more changes?
That went so well.
Yeah.
No, I'm not really that mad at the blue card because I do feel that there are some infringements that are not quite a yellow, but it's too harsh for a red. The one that sticks to my mind is the Euro final when Chiellini pulled down Saka on the halfway line.
Yeah.
That to me, it's like you can't give him a red for that, but a yellow was just too like.
Yeah, I know
do you know
what
what I
you
mean?
mean.
Do you know the
So a sin bin there would have been good for us in that game.
Yeah.
Do you know how they
It's
didn't
for-
enforce it, Josh?
As in, what is the blue card going to be for?
Yeah, and at what point would it be enforced and how long for?
The blue card is going to be a sin bin for 10 minutes, and it's going to be for sort of back chat to the referee first of all, and then also like you say, the really cynical,
Like
fouls.
cynical stuff,
like
yeah.
like you know when you do a sort of professional foul, when someone brings someone down on the halfway line, you're about to go through, score a goal. It's obvious. It's not quite a red, but it's sort of pretty bad.
Yeah.
That's where they're bringing it in, and effectively it will bring the sin bin into football, which is something that has been discussed for a long time. I mean, we've heard about sin bins for 10 plus years.
So, but why do you think it's shit though?
I just don't want to slow the game down. Like we've already slowed it down so much because of VAR. Villa are in. Another chance. Oh, they've got to make them pay here. This is just like West Ham, where Man United are wide open, they're getting cut open, and they're getting away with it.
I'll tell you another thing, right? I don't know why this has really annoyed me, but blue. Why is it?
I would have
it's
called
orange.
it orange. Yeah,
It's an orange card.
It's
Like,
like
I've been
orange,
saying it for years. Like, it's not quite a red. It's not quite a yeah. It's not sort of an orange. Blue card. Like, it doesn't make sense. What do they do when they go off? Because we see it in rugby, didn't they? They go on the little.
Sin bin. They go on the little bench. They sit there. They have to watch the game.
No, but you got to keep.
Oh, they
if
sit
you're
on the
going to come
bike.
back, you got to get on
They
the
sit
bike,
on the
didn't
bike.
you? Yeah.
I think that the refereeing standards this year are the worst in my memory.
Yeah.
Like, I'm genuinely shocked by how bad it is. Like Newcastle Forest yesterday, it was. And it's sad because I'm almost so like used to it now that like I used to get really annoyed, and now I'm like, yeah, like
Referees are just shit. innit?
it's
on any
so
level.
bad.
On every level, Sunday League to the Premier League, all
But
refs shit.
even with VAR, which was intended to speed the game, help the game be more correct and factual, the amount of VAR decisions that we've watched get wrong.
Yeah.
Countless times. It's like all we've done is substituted an immediate human error potentially for slower human errors.
errors,
Yeah.
And now I'm like, the whole point of the game, making it more entertaining, is to keep it free flowing, keep it fast. We never want referees who are constantly blowing up and stopping the game, unless you need to take control of the game. And the amount of referees who can't even do that.
Yeah,
So to give them more options, more cards, I'm like, I want them less involved, not more involved.
The games are so over-refereed at the moment. And every game that I really enjoy, I come away and I go, oh, I didn't notice the referee in that game. It's always the games where I go, oh, I didn't really think
when
about
a ref lets it blow it.
But so how many times this season have you watched a game and you've looked at a referee and gone, he needs another thing to think about. He needs another card in his pocket. He needs another rule that he has to enforce. Never. They've already got too many. There's already too much stuff going on. The rules change so frequently. The refs don't know what's going on. And like you say, Brian, it used to be that there was one guy on the pitch that could make a mistake. We've now got one guy on the pitch, 3 guys around the pitch, 4 guys in a fucking van somewhere that can make a mistake. And we've all heard the audio.
And they still don't know what a handball is.
They don't know what they're doing.
You know what I mean?
So why are we giving them more stuff to do?
Do you not think, though, that the actual card, the blue card itself, if you look at the infractions and the reasons why it could be given, do you not think that isn't slowing the game down at all? That's like, I know it's another rule change, it's another thing that's different about the game.
I don't like the dissent thing, though.
Yeah.
I just think, bro, like referees, if someone's chatting shit to you, just carry on, bro. It's not that deep. It's like, it's a game of emotions. It's not that deep, but like, so like someone like Nunez will get it all the time.
This is it. Well,
Do you know what I mean?
I think you've hit the nail on the head.
He will get it all the
game of
time.
emotions. That's why we enjoy it.
Whereas like the cynicalness, I get. Like I think that's a fair one to keep it in.
At the end of the day, if your player is running through on goal and it's on the halfway line, he gets blocked, stops having a goal scoring opportunity. That is a really big thing for your club. And you know what? If that happens to you, if that happens to Callum Wilson now, and he goes in, runs in at the defence and gets chopped, and he stops a goal scoring opportunity, you would be fuming. And actually, you'd kind of agree with it, wouldn't you?
No, because I just feel like, especially that Euro one's the one that sticks in my head. I just think extra time, Cellini's gone off for 10 minutes. He's their best defender. And that can actually change the outcome of the game in your favour. So what he just did there, he just knew he would get away with something.
I don't think it would, though. I think if you actually think practically about what would happen, like say, for example, like the amount of games I watch where it's basically good team against bad team, attacking team with the ball against the low block. And I think what will happen is if you've got a defender who goes off for 10 minutes, you just sit back for 10 minutes. Like all we're going to see is the games becoming worse spectacles. Where if you go sin bin, you know that on the sideline the manager's going to go five at the back, get everyone back, stick everyone back for 10 minutes, have a little breather, and then go again. And it's just going to make the game worse.
I just don't have any faith that they'll enforce it correctly. Therefore, I don't want it.
I know what you're saying.
And I'm not disagreeing with Josh on the logic. Like, I could, if we had officials who I thought were great, I would like, yeah, maybe we'll listen to this. The VAR, and here's the thing that really is annoying me the most is, who the fuck is thinking this up, and how can they just enforce this on the people's game with no consent for what we want? Because as far as I'm concerned, it's like, who the fuck is deciding?
So you're basically...
Does anyone around this table know who enforces this? Like, in person?
No.
Is it Richard Masters or?
It's the PGMOL.
Because to me,
the associated.
To me, if we had football authorities who were in any way fit and proper, they'd look at the absolute shit show that is VAR and go, we have fucked this beyond belief. We're now dragging the games out longer. We're taking forever to make up decisions that even. Like, we've still not got right? So we're just taking longer to make the wrong decision. Let's suck it up. If they really cared about the game, they would have done away with VAR, in my opinion.
Do you know what the thing that, for me, is the key nail in the coffin for this blue card thing is? How can you ever compare Premier League football now to what it was 20 years ago? Like, it does almost feel like a completely different game.
It's like,
if you think back,
WE back in the 90s compared to now.
Yeah, it's like you know when we're talking about like Premier League goal scorers of all time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think in 20 years' time we're going to be able to compare those stats anymore, because you've literally got 10 minutes more in a game minimum if we're looking at that rule change. Then you've got all the VAR stuff, which quite frankly is probably given more goals, or I don't know, they've taken away goals and given goals, but you know it's different horses of courses. And then you look at all the other rule changes that are going to be coming in. It is a completely different game. It's almost like the change that's happened when the back pass rule came in, or when we went from 2 to 3 points. Like, it is that big a change. The rules that we've had as a collective.
Defenders used to be able to do. Yeah. Roy Keane would be in jail now. Like, you know what I mean? That's
could have killed someone.
Yeah, well, that's what people would say. Like honestly, you look back at football from when we were growing up in like the noughties and stuff, and like
it was so much more free flowing and fun.
It was so quicker.
Personally, I think football's peaked.
I agree.
I think football's peaked, bro. I honestly do, because of what you're saying now. Because it's so much. It just feels like everything is a machine. It feels like
exactly. The shame is it should be getting better.
But
we're in a time now where we've got the best league. Like, earlier on in my life, it was like Italy probably had the best league. We're in a time now where we've got the best league, we can attract the best stars, but we're just fucking it with all this stupidness.
We're making it so mechanical. We're making it so much about XG, about VAR.
It's more about
the players.
athleticism.
Yeah, it's not
more
about
about athleticism and less about,
it isn't about the
brilliance
talent.
and talent. Like, for me, back in the 90s, 2000s, it was so much more about talent. And now, I mean, look...
Because even if you deep it, I feel like growing up, every team had a worldie.
Yeah.
Bolton had a Kocha. Do you know what I mean? Palmer had Varane.
You had Janino.
You had
just magicians on every team.
In every team. Whereas now, like, I think that the average players got better because they're just fitter and they're just more athletic. But
I think some of it is like the pepification of football, like the kind of
system.
And Klopp, it's about running, it's about containing the ball, maintaining possession, making less mistakes.
There's no
it's
risk.
not about taking chances,
it's not
it's
risk.
about running forward and opening the games up the way it used to be.
I went and watched my nephew play, and he's 10, right? I went and watched my nephew play a few weeks ago. And
The
it's
baller.
Yeah, he's decent, but like I was just watching, he does 7-a-side, and it's like you can see managers being like, if someone does step overs or someone tries to beat someone like that, careful, get back in your spot. Do you know what I mean? Like round of applause for tracking back, not for trying to beat someone or trying to do anything. It's like, and it's a shame because I feel like the players that we've actually got in the England setup right now are players who came through, as we say, sort of 10, 15 years ago, when we were trying to get more technical players, we were trying to get dribblers through, and that's why we've got players like Saka, like Foden, who can beat people. Whereas now, I feel like kids are going to be growing up in an era where you've got to cover your left back. Do you know what I mean? You've got to invert into midfield rather than just play.
I also think it's a stats thing now. So if you look at back in the day, dribbles. Let's say a stat like dribbles completed. If a player did 10 dribbles in a game and fucked up 8, but he scored on 2 of them, we class that as good. But now they'll look at dribbles completed. He's only done 2 out of 10.
So a classic example is what Pep Guardiola did to Grealish.
Yeah.
Ruined him. In my opinion, just fucking ruined him. And if Grealish had been playing 20 years ago, we'd be talking about him as one of the most exciting players of that era.
So what he's killed? Well, I was going to say, what happened? Gaza in the modern era.
There you go.
What would happen? Do you know what I mean? He'd be sitting
Imagine Gaza tracking back.
Yeah,
it would have just been shite. That, you know what I mean?
All the players we grew up with, Cantona, Bergkamp. Bergkamp's a different one because he was really physical, but I think you're losing your mavericks in football now. You know.
I've got one for you then. If you could get rid of one thing out of the modern game, one rule, what would you get rid of?
Go around the table.
It's for me, it's obvious it's VAR, but I'm trying to think of something a little.
Would you get rid of it completely?
Yes.
Would you wipe it off?
No, bro.
Obviously, goal line technology, and if there's one they could actually do for the offside rather than the whole drawing the line.
Automated offside.
If there was a way
what I would do with VAR, I would do it how how they do tennis when they do the challenges on tennis, like with the points.
Yeah. So a manager gets 3 options.
Yeah, you get 2. You can only get 2 a game or something like that.
Idea.
Like I wouldn't do it like every little thing.
I would prefer that massively, because as much as being right is important, this is entertainment.
Yeah, bro. I want to be entertained, bro. I kind of like the hand of God, and I like those things because it's iconic. Do you know what I mean? Those things. So it's like, I think I would limit VAR.
Do you know the one for me that I would change? And it's funny you mentioned the hand of God because there was a game recently. I think it was this weekend. I can't remember which one it was, but there were 2 penalties given for handballs where they literally were players with their hands above their head, but they were jumping for the ball, completely natural. We would do that in our football matches, every single time, and you would never give a penalty in just a general football game because of that. I'm sick and tired of all these penalties being given for absolutely no reason. Do you know what? The one thing that I would change is honestly just make that an indirect free kick.
But my question,
that would improve
my question
things
to everyone here, what is handball? Is it deliberate? Do you know what I mean? Is it deliberate where you stop the ball with your hand, or is it just if it just hits your hand?
It's not purely deliberate anymore. And that was the thing that we kind of grew up with: is accidental handball is not a penalty.
It's not
now
penalty.
it's unnatural position.
Which is
what is it? What is an unnatural position?
It's bollocks.
Mate, this is the thing. So say, for example, if you were to fall over now, we're not playing football, you were to fall on the floor, you wouldn't pencil, would you?
Yeah,
you would try and break your fall. But then if a football hits your hand where you try to break your fall, all of a sudden, unnatural. It's like, actually, it's pretty natural
I
to do
would stop.
that.
I would stop at. Do you remember Gibbs in the Arsenal game where we beat them 6-0? He got.
No, wasn't it Oxlade-Chamberlain?
No. I'm glad you said that. But that was a clear red card, and that was a clear penalty. That is the handball that you should. That should be the worst one. Yeah.
I don't think Suarez meant it that time.
For me, that's the one that I would change. I'm actually some implementation of VAR I think is actually good, like the automated offsides. I think if they improve VAR, it'd be fine. But I think that one winds me up.
I just think the morons who are enforcing it have just no faith in them.
But how do you get better at refereeing?
Overhaul it, overhaul the whole thing, pay them better money. Like,
Just basically have Wayne Rooney as the ref.
No, you just got to throw money at it. You got to. There's so
No,
much.
no, no.
There
I
has
agree
been
with
good refs. Like I always thought Howard Webb was pretty good.
Yeah.
Howard Webb was pretty good. Matey with the weird eyes, he was pretty good, wasn't he?
Yeah.
What was his name?
Kalina.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then it's quite bad that we come back like 20 years. I'm playing two.
They've been two guys. Man.
No,
But that's because they had common sense about them, and they were allowed to referee
What you just
with a
said
bit
is
of
so
common
true.
sense.
Do you know what?
And
Do you know
here's
what?
what I'm going to say on that: more rules take away a referee's ability to manage a game, because as we are working with people here, and when a game is a bit more feisty, you kind of can't referee to the exact same standard.
No, it's true.
It is a softer game. So for me, I feel like giving the referees a little bit more leeway and a bit more common sense. And yes, all right, we've got to have the general rules and regulations, but to have it by the book every single time in terms of the level of intensity in the game it's not applicable for me.
No, I agree with that wholeheartedly, because I think the number one thing of ref in a game should be use your common sense. We understand there's nuances and there's like not every handball is the same. But if you have a rule about it, then you have to do it the same because it has to be consistent with everything else. But then you're not using your brain.
Mate, watching Newcastle play Liverpool this season at Anfield, I've never seen any. I'd like to say I'd never seen anything like when we played Paris Saint-Germain. We got robbed as well for a penalty, but it was so overwhelming in Liverpool's favour on countless decisions. That's something that I feel like referees need to be a bit more braver in as well, in atmospheres where, because when I watch Man United and Liverpool, the amount of innocuous little things that in a normal Wolves versus West Ham game would be highlighted that get let go in the Anfield atmosphere. And I mean, like the diving, for example, of that little rat Liverpool have got from, what's his name?
Jota.
Yeah,
Jota.
fucking just throw himself to the floor.
Do you-
Shit like that pisses me off.
Do you know what?
Yeah, that
like
was
we were
mad.
saying about the VAR
so
as well,
mad.
right? I've been to, I think, every game in Chelsea's cup run to the final of the League Cup this year, and obviously we haven't had VAR in the cup, and I actually think that not having VAR, not only is it like, obviously, you know, the game slowed down and whatnot, it's elevated the performance of the referees.
Yeah.
And it's elevated, you can see the referees more confident on the field. Like, it's almost like taking the shackles off and going, right, it's all
You know
on
what?
you now. And you get
Because someone's not over your shoulder about
Exactly.
to correct you all the time. So you're
Exactly.
actually the authority for a change.
Exactly.
Instead of worrying, when this gets watched back, am I going to be... And personally, much preferred the cup games.
It's been such
Yeah.
a good
That's
atmosphere.
exactly
and
why
the
we should get
game
rid of it.
just
Yeah,
felt
and
so
also
good.
a lot of the time when you go the VAR team, they have a screenshot of the thing.
So
Yeah.
annoying.
You fucking hate that,
That's
don't
crazy.
you?
So
no, that's crazy
annoying.
though,
Yeah,
bro.
it is.
So
They've got
when you
screen-
go
it
over
makes
to a
it look
monitor
so much
and it's a
better.
and it's a stationary
And you've already
image.
got that. You already got that in the person's head, man.
Yeah.
Because football, we all know football's played at 100 miles an hour, especially these guys. They move so quickly. So to stop it on a freeze frame, always, I've never understood that ever. Because you never, like referees back in the day, even when we just played football at Sunday League, you would never contextualise a foul based on like one image.
Well, you never get to see the intensity of how fast he was running,
Yeah, yeah.
what body language,
Yeah,
all of
yeah.
that. You take all of the context out of it.
What was the
Yeah,
one
yeah,
where
that's
Gordon
what-
got kicked off the pitch? Do you remember that one?
Who, sorry?
Anthony
And
Gordon.
Oh, yeah, and that led
was-
to a goal.
that was a really bad
We've been so fucked this season, but I know every fan gets complaints or whatever, but we've had some pretty bad dives go against us and stuff like
The
that.
worst ones, Wolves, they have had some bad decisions.
Yeah,
VAR.
yeah.
Someone was accumulating the
What,
amount of
against
points.
them?
Yeah, someone was accumulating the amount of points, like actual stonewall ones that everyone would agree would be overturned. It's like 9 points that they've missed out on this season.
Was that the
It's crazy.
Onana? Was that the Onana sort of punch?
Well,
that
he,
got?
he just punched the defender straight in the face.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
Mate,
mad.
mate, he landed a cleaner shot than
Yeah,
Deontay
but you
Wilder
know,
back
he,
in the
he,
past.
he was
Honestly.
he was settling
was
into
mental.
the league. It's
He's
not
ready-
like he still does that sort of stuff now. So,
And Anna's getting ready for Riyadh season. He's
Yeah.
looking at
Mate.
Ghani.
We're watching this game, by the way. Villa are just like, they're not clicking at all here, are they? It's not falling for them.
It's funny though because they've had a lot of opportunities where they've been in that area there, where they've been on the edge of the area. They played a through ball, but they just haven't been able to connect with it. It's a bit of a strange one. They definitely have had sort of like territorial moments where they could have scored a goal and they haven't done it. It's weird.
I feel like
Finishing.
neither team has looked good.
Yeah, no.
at all.
Since United scored, they haven't done anything.
Nah.
I mean, to be fair, Onana's just had a goal kick there. He just goes straight back and he just boots it out.
Applauds himself.
Yeah,
fair enough.
I love it. We can't all give our own reviews, but if
I
we
do
could,
that all day long.
5 out of 5.
All day long I do that.
It's good for your mental health there. You got to back yourself.
Yeah. But Man United were really threatening early on, and it's sort of slowed down. Villa are coming back into it, but they're not like, wow, Bailey looking good here. But man, he's got 5 Man United players.
Oh, that was quite bad by Bruno.
Yeah.
That was quite bad. So
Well, he's
Bruno
got his
just
knees
flew in.
begging, so he can't be that bad, mate. This guy.
He is a joke.
Is he getting the yellow card?
He's an absolute joke. It's definitely
I want to see
yellow.
this again. Come on, let's have a fucking look at this. What is it with Sky, man?
Don't worry, it'll be VAR. Don't worry about that, lads.
No, it did look
We'll
bad,
have a
but
good
it
look
might.
at it.
But again, like in context.
Freeze frame this, boys, because if this is freeze framed, he's off.
Well, he was taking the piss out of them, so I don't know if he got a bit not.
Oh, come
it's
on,
gone.
that is a.
Hey, it's gone, you know.
They've got to look at that.
Hey.
He's properly followed through there.
Hey.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
his
think he's
foot up.
lucky that Bailey lifts his leg
Right, yeah.
and they've given nothing.
Oh my days.
And again, just as I was saying,
It's a free kick.
no, but the point is, there's no card for that when he's gone studs up on him, and only for the raise of the leg from Bailey, does there no damage done? Like, do you have to take his ankle out? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
This is it. Do you have to wait till he does break his leg until you actually?
Yeah, it's another one of why do players throw themselves down in the penalty area, to be fair, is because the referees sometimes are so dumb, unless you actually make a meal of it.
Oh, I tried
Oh,
it.
that was a good effort.
Got a corner out of it.
That was a really good effort. John McGinn with a free kick, whips it in, front post.
But
Close.
these are the little things that I'm talking about with Man United and Liverpool, the mega clubs specifically. It's not that I think that they get completely different treatment to other clubs in terms of like, is a foul a foul? It's that the little things that should be yellow cards don't be given against them on a consistent basis. Yellow cards don't become red cards when they should be. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing I see consistently. But yeah, I mean, Villa are piling on, but they're just not getting much.
They're piling. I think they lack a little bit of quality in the final third. They're playing Jacob Ramsey as a kind of 10, and I love Jacob Ramsey, but I feel like they lack maybe like a Buendia, someone who's got that pass that can unlock.
Or a
United
Paqueta
football.
or someone.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of chat actually that they're getting a bit sick of Watkins, you know, which is mad considering how good he's been.
Corner, and it's cleared. Really good defending from Varane and Maguire in terms of like, but it's food and drink for them. Like, I think Villa are making it a little bit easy. They're not playing their football as much. Bruno Fernandes throws himself on the floor for nothing there, man. Fucking hell. He's got no shame, like.
I like that though.
Yeah, I mean, if he's on your side.
I like that.
Yeah.
Though. I like them shithouse guys, man.
Hey, if you like shithouse guys, Bruno must be your guy.
Yeah,
man. Bruno's the king.
Yeah, he's the king of shithousery, bro.
But I'm thinking about Jose Mourinho for Newcastle, lads.
I've been thinking about Jose
Really?
Mourinho quite a lot myself, actually.
You want Jose? Don't you think
it always
Jose's
at night?
spark is gone?
Do you
No.
reckon?
I'm asking.
Do you?
I mean,
I mean, he's not what he was.
Yeah, he's just not what he was. Like that special pizzazz that he had.
football's not what it was. I still
True,
think Jose.
true.
I still think Jose Mourinho. I think if you're holding him to the standard of where he was at with Porto, Inter Milan, Chelsea, then yeah, of course. But I think if you're just going on about, it's like I was speaking with the Pochettino thing, right? Everyone in my comments, and I said, you know, Jose might be an option. Everyone straight away, you think Jose's going to win the league with this? No. But I was saying I didn't think Pochettino was going to win the league with this Chelsea side. It doesn't mean that I think that Jose's the saviour, but sometimes when you're looking at what you've got and you're like, okay, could this be a slightly better option? I still think Jose Mourinho is a very, very capable manager. You look at everyone can say, the win percentage has gone down. Barring Spurs, who win nothing, he has won trophies at every single one of his last 5 clubs or
Got them
something
to a
like
cup
that.
final as well.
Exactly, and probably would have won that, you know, when you look at his record in finals. So.
But we had him on the list of topics today, and I just thought, you know, if Eddie did go, I'd give Jose a go
you have
straight
him?
away. The reason being is, we don't win trophies, and he does. And
you've
if
got-
anyone can break that shit, it's him, actually.
You as a fan base have got a little bit of a soft spot for Jose as well.
Because Sir Bobby obviously brought him into football as his translator and taught him everything he knew. And I think there's always been this thing about, one day going to Newcastle, do it for Sir Bobby sort of thing.
Yeah,
We love romance. And that's another thing about football we love.
In terms of the odds, Jose most likely to go to any Saudi club, 1 to 3 on.
Cool.
Next is Chelsea,
Makes sense, though.
4 to 1 on. Then it's Bayern, which, considering how bad Tuchel has been there, you can understand why. Napoli, then Newcastle, then Barcelona, then Portugal, and then after Porto is Palace, and then the England national job.
England national job is the one for me. I
Yeah.
would love him as the England manager. 'Cause
Would you?
I don't.
Same.
I don't know
Would
if
you
he
though?
suits
Yeah, love
league
him.
football so much anymore. Because I do think league football's so much
Yeah,
about being able to
Jose
build a good
tournament
attack.
football
Jose
is different,
tournament
yeah.
football, mate. Like, on it, especially with the team that we've got, and like we all know Jose from the Premier League, and like even as an Arsenal fan, bear in mind, Jose's Chelsea came in just as Arsenal, like we'd done the Invincibles, we were supposed to dominate then, and he just came in and just ruined everything. I've still got a soft spot for him.
I
I
can't-
still like him. He's funny,
What
mate.
Jose did to Wenger over the years, criminal.
Mate, it's horrible. It's horrible. But if he
Was
could
it
be,
the 1000th game?
Oh,
mate,
Specialist in
Don't bring it
failure.
up, mate. Don't
That,
bring it
that,
up.
that
Game.
specialist in failure was the one for me. That was like a line from like a really bad like diss song.
It's
like,
like, yeah,
man,
WWE kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah, it
But
was
if-
Nas
But
Jay-Z
imagine
level.
having
like,
him on your side for England. Like, if there's one thing, like I was about to say I like Gareth Southgate. I abide Gareth Southgate. No, look, I like Gareth Southgate, the man. I like the guy.
the man or the boss.
I like the, I like the guy. He's a nice guy. I like the stuff he says about what England should mean, what it should represent. Do I like him as a football manager? I like him as a Labour politician. But if I could swap him out for a bastard like Jose,
Yeah.
who could come in, bring us a bit of dark arts. We got a lot of young players in that England team. If you could give them a bastard who could just help us get over the line,
Get over the line, certain
mate.
games,
Tournament
yeah.
football, Jose.
No, I hear
Yeah.
that.
It's perfect, mate. International football's a bit slower. Perfect.
But he's probably going to go Saudi, innit?
Because he's a villain.
I don't
he's
know.
A perfect villain.
I don't know if he will go Saudi. You know,
think there's
I
something
think
there.
he's really hoping for another shot in the Premier League.
If comedy was in Saudi, you're not going to go?
For me.
Well, asking you, bro.
What, you saying I'm not going next week? Al Hilal's fucking AGM, man. I'm announcing the player awards.
I'll go to the opening of an envelope in Saudi, mate. Whatever they need me for.
Chance for Villa. Oh,
what is going on here?
this is mad.
The quality of this
so-
game is absolutely shit.
Mate, every time we watch Man United, we say this, like, the games are awful, but, like, that goal that they scored was quality, like, credit them, but, like, how on earth Villa haven't made more of all of this dominance that they've had in that final third?
I think the start of the game, United were doing quite a good job of pressing Villa and not letting them play through. Now, Villa are getting through every time. They're getting into United's box. Villa won't want this half to end. They'd want another 10 minutes of this because they're starting to bang on the door properly now. I just think they need either someone who can give them a final ball or they need another outlet, like someone else that they can aim at in the box so they can get crosses in. They've got Moussa Diaby on the bench who started the season really hot, but it's not really...
What is going on with him? Like, seriously, what is going on with him? What was it I said to you at the start of the season? I said he'd be signing the season. I said Diaby's unreal. And I can't remember who the player was that you were telling me was a better player than him or a better signing. But I was so high on Diaby, I was thinking he was absolutely brilliant. And obviously he has looked good, like, in spurts when he's played. But he just can't really seem to hold down a first-team spot for Villa. When you look at how good he was, it was Leverkusen who was at last season, wasn't it? How good he was there. I thought that he was going to literally transform that team, and he just hasn't really kicked on this season in that side. And when a team are playing as well as Villa have been, it's like, you know.
I'm looking at his stats here. 23 appearances, only, to be fair, 18 start, 4 goals, 4 assists. So it's all right. It's not. He scored a banging goal against Newcastle at St James's, and that's when the whole stadium were like,
Yeah.
should we have gotten him?
Yeah.
I mean, he came with a great reputation, but yeah, it hasn't happened. And I am surprised when you look at this game because it is crying out for that little touch of quality to open them up. I do have to give credit to Varane and Maguire. They're the last line of defence, like holding on for dear life right now. And if it wasn't for them, I think they probably would have conceded.
And that's how Maguire wants to play. Let's be honest. That's
Deep,
Maguire's game.
yeah.
If you can just sit him in a box and tell him to just head airplanes out the air, he'd
Kick
do
it
that
on.
all. Yeah, exactly. He'd do that all day long, mate.
Yeah.
It's when you put him on a halfway line and try and get him to pass the ball, he's in trouble. But it's kind of suits United now because this is how they want to play. Maguire likes defending like this. Rashford, Højlund, Garnacho want to play on the break. You wouldn't be surprised if United just sucker punch him and get a second goal now.
It's exactly what happened with West Ham last week.
Yeah.
West Ham threw 1-on-1 on goal. You're actually stunned that they haven't put it in the back of the net. And 15 seconds later, it's in their net.
But this is the reason that their away record against good teams has been bad, because usually good teams have got the quality that if
To
they,
punish them, yeah,
if they
yeah.
get that amount of time in United's box, they'll just score.
I think it says more about Villa right now. The
Yeah.
fact that Villa now are looking like their 3rd consecutive home defeat if they can't turn this around in the second half. And this is kind of what I felt when watching them against Newcastle was I don't really feel threatened that much. They don't look like they're going to link enough passes together to break us down.
I think you've got to get Jacob Rams. I love Jacob Rams, by the way. I'm a like, huge fan of the kid, and I think he's got an England career ahead of him. But today, when you've got John McGinn and him in that attacking three behind Watkins, you go, you don't need both of them. Get Diop, for God's sake.
If I'm watching this as a Spurs fan, I'm not too worried that either of these two are catching me.
Yeah.
They're not showing much class.
Not at all.
Really,
Yeah, neither of them looked like they could touch Spurs.
What do you think of Spurs yesterday?
I've only seen the highlights, but I thought they were good. What do you reckon?
Same.
You feeling a bit bitter
What? In what way?
about Spurs?
About Postecoglou?
Yeah, I mean, like, he's
my
smashing.
guilty pleasure this season. I have to go back, including still now, really, a long time since I've liked a Spurs manager. And Postecoglou, man, like he's one that I look
feel-good
at. I'm like,
manager.
yeah, you're.
I think there's something about him where I feel like a lot of clubs should be looking going, fuck, you're way better than what we thought.
But he is a bit kamikaze though.
Yeah.
It's been kamikaze at times when they've had major injuries, and I think that's where, when you guys talk about your injuries, I'm like, yeah, but does it really matter? Like the players that you have, like I don't really understand the level of drop-off that is being spoken about. Whereas with Spurs, I fully understood the drop-off,
Yeah.
and the drop-off was very clear. You lost a few players, it hammered you got them back, you came back, and even then, it wasn't like it was bad, but it didn't go on and on and on. It was like 4 bad games. For me, Ange's showing all of the makings of a top manager. And as a Newcastle fan, I kind of thought Eddie was that guy, and maybe still might be. But this season, he isn't looking quite the guy that Ange is, to be honest. I mean, it's nice not to have Champions League football for them, and that probably helped them a lot, where we've had a lot more games, minutes, injuries. But I've been blown away by Ange, and I think, for me, when you're a charismatic bloke, it goes a long way in the dressing room as a footballer to be inspired by. That's one of the things that's never happened with Ten Hag, and people will ask me, why do you not rate him? I'm like, there's nothing about him that inspires me. Ange, you look and you go, he's that father figure that players will run through a brick wall for.
And also they've been playing great football.
Exactly.
Which Spurs haven't done.
And he's done that at
time.
every club he's managed. He's got them playing better football than anyone else has seen from that team in years. And with Spurs going from boring football under Conte, where you're relying on just whacking it long, he's transformed them, and this is what breaks down a lot of the narratives for other teams' failures. They go, oh well, we can't expect to do this because of this, we can't do it because of that. Mate, Ange's got a bunch of players who are playing everyone behind the ball football and transformed them in a season where they lost their greatest footballer, arguably ever, to play for the club. Every excuse every other manager has got outside of injuries and, is kind of null and void by him.
And he's improved players, by the way. We talk about Ten Hag, mate, and just improved players. I mean, Sarr in their midfield, I watched him season before last. I was like, Jesus Christ,
Yeah,
this guy's
sometimes I'm not even sure if it's improving players. I think it goes to what you said about wanting to play for the manager. Like, do you know what I mean? There's no inspiration.
But that's part of it, yeah.
Look at Bissouma. Bissouma at Brighton, unbelievable. Comes to Spurs under Conte, and I was like, God, did they get something wrong? Back in under Postecoglou now. I know he didn't play yesterday, but mate, Bissouma is unbelievable. Like Van der Ven that they got in defence, unreal, mate. Like they've got some really good players. And Richarlison. I don't like saying it. I mean, look, Arsenal.
That's the one for me.
Arsenal got Gabby Jesus up front. I'm looking at Richarlison going, we got the wrong Brazilian.
It's like he's had a brain transplant, mate. What the fuck has happened there? Because I've never looked at that lad and thought Richarlison can be a complete centre forward. At times this season, and I know this is going to trigger the Chelsea boys, he's looking like fucking Diego Costa. He's a pain in the arse. He's everywhere. He's bullying defenders. He's finishing chances. I'm not expecting it to continue because I don't think he's that guy. But Ange is making him look fucking outrageous.
But maybe it will continue. If Ange stays there, and let's be honest, Ange is playing to his strengths properly. Like, properly playing to his strengths. He gets Son nice and close to him. Like, Bentancur yesterday was really good, I thought. I think Richarlison could go on to be a really good Premier League striker under Ange.
So you said you thought Diaby would be signing the season. Who do you think is, though?
Signing the season?
Yeah. I would
Ross
say,
Barkley.
Nah, bro.
No.
But before we do this, can I ask, before we move on? Because I like that. I like that. Before we move on, what is the limit, the ceiling for Ange at Spurs? How far can he take them based on what we've seen so far? Obviously, we don't know, but speculate.
Here, where they are.
Yeah. She's top four.
Yeah.
Top four is the limit.
Yeah. Yeah,
Unless
well, I mean, look at what we just said about Arsenal earlier. Look at what we just said about Arsenal in terms of, for them to still be in the title race, they're going to have a perfect next 3 months or something
generally
like that.
though, sorry, in the long run, I'm looking at the size of that fucking stadium. I'm looking at the potential to attract players.
Bro, say it,
No,
bro. If you think
no.
they can win the league, say it, bro.
I mean in the long run. I'm on about in the long
Top
run.
4 is the limit with Andrew.
Nah.
Yeah, and also, people who think that's me saying, he's maxed out now. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that. I'd love to just be a top 4 team at the minute, the way things are going, and I can guarantee you that after a couple of years of being very mediocre, the Spurs fans will be happy to be a top 4 team. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think until something changes at the top of the table and Pep takes his stronghold off of this league, you're never going to look at a Spurs and say you're going to be competing for league titles. So I think if you could solidify them as a top 4 team, I think any Spurs fan would be buzzing with that.
No, I agree with you. But if they can get players in where if their top players get injured and a drop-off is not as big, then why can't they challenge for the title?
In the same way,
they've
Arsenal.
done
In the same way Arsenal are. Not in the same way I think they can beat. I don't think anyone's compete with City.
Just for
Do you know
context,
what
I mean, they're only 7 points off of the top right now, and it's Big Andrew's first season. So, like, all I'm saying is I wouldn't blame someone logically if they went, if this is where he is now, improve the squad. He hasn't got his own players for his own identity, and yet he's already got them playing his style. What if he buys more players to his identity? What if he adds to that? Can he not bridge that gap in the long run?
More often than not, though, when we say that,
They don't.
It
No,
doesn't
I
end up
agree.
happening like Eddie Howe, Ten Hag. Like, there's a lot of times, even just
No, I
last season
agree,
when
I
we were
agree.
going,
I do
he's
agree.
done this in his first season. I'm just saying, I think if I'm being realistic, listen, when Spurs have a good win, play good football, it's easy to get carried away with things. I'm just saying, if I'm being realistic here, I think this is the cap, and I don't think there's anything wrong with this being the cap, because football, ultimately, the bigger picture, but it's about the feeling it gives you, the moments it gives you, and Spurs fans are really lucky because they're having a lot of good ones this season. They'll have a lot of good ones to come, but I just think with the competitiveness of the league, this is probably...
I think he'll end up winning a trophy at Spurs and breaking the curse. And
Do you think he'll be an FA
he'll
Cup?
win a FA Cup or a Carabao Cup, yeah.
You don't look...
or Europa League.
I don't know about Europe, but
Europa League.
What is
if
it that's
for whatever
holding you
reason
guys
they
back?
finish sixth.
What is the outside of it doesn't usually happen? Spurs have challenged for a title before.
Can I see what's holding me back? So the question is, how far can
Big Ange.
can Big Ange go with Spurs?
Long term.
Long term? What's holding me back long term? I don't think he stays there long term. Because I think if you look at the landscape of the Premier League of who's going to be going, we know Klopp's going this summer.
All right, let's just suggest he is though, for the sake of
Big
Well,
Ange at Liverpool.
If I was a Liverpool fan, that's what I'd want.
if Ange was a free agent now, do you reckon he's choosing Liverpool over Spurs?
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
But then, for
the sake of the argument,
because
for the sake of the
everyone thinks that Liverpool are getting their guy from Leverkusen, Xabi Alonso. Like
They have to get him. They have to get him.
Yeah, so no one.
I don't know.
So
No, they
right,
have to,
right
bro.
now.
Yeah, I know they will want him. I don't
Big
know they get
Ange is likely to stay at Spurs for a while. They've got him under contract. You know what the chairman's like about his contracts. You fucking have to you need a crowbar to pry Big Ange away from Spurs right now.
Yeah.
So he's going to be there for a while.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Come on, Jacob. What are you saying?
I guess my reservation is Spurs rather than Ange. My reservation is you've still got Joe Levy there, and he's just not proven. I know they've got some good players in under Ange. I know Van der Ven. Richarlison was there already. Basuma was there already. They brought Maddison in.
mate, their recruitment recently has been brilliant.
It's been brilliant.
Their recruitment
Josh,
is probably one of the
Josh,
best in the league.
as I guess as a fan of a club like Arsenal, who are maybe sort of 2 or 3 years ahead in terms of we got the right guy, the right manager, we got some transfers right. Do you know how? Essentially, what we're asking is, can he compete for the title?
You're 2 or 3 years
think about
ahead,
it.
and you're 5 points ahead right now.
Yeah,
We're 5
but
points ahead, but we're 2 title challenges in.
I'm understanding that. I'm saying
And we've
if
got
I
a
was
trophy.
a Spurs fan,
We've qualified
and I'm trying
for
to play
Europe.
their sort of angle here, I think they should be extremely excited by it, because what we're seeing is he's turning chicken shit into chicken salad, with some of these old players who really should not be performing to the level that they have done. And then he's showing that he's got good talent ID, bringing good players in, and he's a man motivator. He's good tactically. Like all of the things a manager needs to be a success.
You've got to remember as well, Klopp's going, Pep probably goes in a couple of years. Like, there is potential that he could go and push for the league. I understand your rationale.
I'm not saying he will.
I just think
I
they'll
do.
be close. I think they'll be close. I think they'll challenge like they're going to be doing this year. You know, they're 7 points behind. I still think that's a big gap. They'll challenge, but I don't think they'll quite do it. But then he will get something good going in the cups. I think
He's
they've got a
impressed
good
me
enough
more than
cup-
anyone else this season, because I thought Spurs would have a major drop-off without their man Harry Kane. And I certainly didn't think that the football... Remember, last season, Newcastle beat them 6-1 at St James's, and I've never seen a team roll over like a bunch of pussies the way they did. So it wasn't just that they were losing their best player. They didn't look like they had anything left afterwards in terms of mental, team spirit. So for him to come in and take that lot, who we just annihilated, and transform them in terms of mentally on the pitch, I can't believe what he's done.
I think we talk about the top 6 in the Premier League, and I think right now there's a kind of a top 3 with Arsenal, Liverpool and City. I think we can agree on that, can't we? They're in the title race together. Those games when they play each other, when it's Arsenal, City, Arsenal, like Liverpool, blah, 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 those 3 when they play, it feels like a different level of football, doesn't it? When it's Arsenal, Liverpool, City, those games. I think just below that, there's a category where you kind of put Spurs, Villa, United now, probably Newcastle, and that's what Chelsea want to get into. Is that
Spurs
group.
are better than all of those teams.
They've got to prove
they are consistent.
They've got to prove that. They've got to prove that.
I would say I agree with you. I think they're like those 3 teams, but I think Spurs are like they're right on the edge. They're knocking on that door into.
So for me, that is the next challenge for Ange. Is he has to prove that he can move up now. I mean, Joey said, and Brian, you've said yourself that you think Liverpool might drop down a bit next season when they lose Klopp. The challenge for me, if I'm a Spurs fan, I'm looking at Ange, I'm going, right, if Klopp goes, Liverpool drop out of that kind of top 3 with City and Arsenal, we have to go into it. We have to show that we can go to the top of the table and stay there for a while. We have to show we can go to grounds like Anfield, grounds like the Etihad, and properly compete, get results. They have to beat Arsenal. They haven't done that under Ange yet. Don't get me wrong.
They gave you a fucking good go earlier.
They gave us a good go, but then it's only because Jorginho threw the ball in the back of the fucking net that they got a point against us. So let's be real about Ange. I really like the guy, and I am an Arsenal fan. I really like the guy, but look, we're halfway through a season. There's a long way to go. I think the first thing they've got to do is show they're the best of the rest. That's the first thing they've got to do. Then next season, if anyone's going to capitalise on Klopp leaving Liverpool and Liverpool maybe having a dip, I'm not sure they will, by the way, but if they do, then Spurs have got to show they can go into that group and compete for the title. And I don't know if they will, because you have to get everything right to do that. You can't make a misstep.
You can't have 4 games that you lose in a row, can you? You can't do that.
No. And the maddest thing is, they lost 4 in a row. They've only lost 5 all season. So if they hadn't have done that, they're still right up there with you. So, yeah, I mean...
And they only had that because of the injuries.
Exactly.
But I don't take the
injuries will increase with Champions League football, as Newcastle found out the hard way.
Injuries will increase if you keep doing daft things like buying injury-prone players. Like you can feel unlucky if Declan Rice breaks his leg, because Declan Rice hasn't missed a game of football in years. Yeah. When Maddison turns up at your club and you go, oh, for God's sake, Maddison's injured. Yeah, that's why no one else bought him, because he's always injured. Because he does it every season.
Availability is the best ability.
They're coming out for the second half now. We're going to move on to the question beforehand, which was signing of the season so far.
Well, you rubbished my claim there when I said Ross Barkley, but I'm telling you now.
No, but man.
He's got the best.
If we're talking about this, right? If we say, for example, right, what player has been solely responsible the most for an elevated performance, an elevated league position in their team? So we can go, Declan Rice has been brilliant. Arsenal are third.
I would say Cole Palmer. Answering your question.
Signing?
You picked his Achilles heel.
We're lower.
Literally, it's the one player he can't argue against.
I can argue against it.
I would say Cole.
I can argue against it.
I just can't say Ross because I think Luton are going to get relegated.
Okay, but my argument would be this. If Cole Palmer doesn't sign for Chelsea this season, we may be a little bit lower than we are, but we might be a spot lower. We might be 12th instead of 11th.
Right.
If Ross Barkley doesn't sign for Luton, I think I think they're bottom of the table, and I think by the 30-game mark, they're there or thereabouts of being relegated already. With Ross Barkley in there playing, pulling strings in the midfield, let's be honest, I think they've got as good a chance as anyone of actually staying up. So there, for me, I'm like, straight away, if you're going on the significance one player has made to a team, I'd say Ross Barkley's signing a season.
No.
But Cole Palmer is a great shout.
No, you've made a good argument. I just think, I feel like Ross Barkley playing at Luton is playing below his level, so he stands out. Whereas I feel like Cole Palmer has gone to a team that is that legit has so much quality, and he's young, and he's got the arrogance, and he's taken them. He's scored so many goals, and he's played well in big games.
Yeah, I suppose
that's
we
more-
didn't even know if Cole Palmer would actually be a first-team
That's what
starter
I'm
for us
saying,
at first. But I
exactly.
think if you go, Ross Barkley's fully fit, does he start for Luton? Yeah, of course he does. It's
Yeah,
Ross
yeah.
Barkley.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but that shows you that Cole Palmer's come in and like outperformed all of his expectations. I think that's a
I know.
great thing for Cole Palmer.
I'm saying that is going in Cole Palmer's
Yeah.
favour, that we
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
even know that he would be.
Shall we list some other options? What about
Madison's a good shout. I think.
I was going to say for Spurs, Madison and Van der Ven. I think both of them have been unreal.
Yeah, Van der Ven's been good.
Declan Rice.
Declan Rice?
Yeah, Declan Rice is up there for me. It's hard because he's so expensive, but the thing I'll say for Declan Rice, I watched him in West Ham last season. He was easily their best player, and I've got to be honest with you, and I'm embarrassed saying it. I was worried about him coming in and adjusting to us. I was like, he's going to come in. And when I thought we were going to keep Xhaka, I thought maybe he'll share minutes with Partey and Xhaka. He's coming in just being our best player. Easily. And that's a team that competing at the top of the Premier League, top at Christmas, beating City and Liverpool. And
One of the best performances this season I've seen from an opposition player was Rice. I remember thinking, fuck me, this kid is so hard to play against.
Yeah. He's
So
on it, yeah.
unbelievable.
And do you know the unbelievable thing about him? And this is what West Ham fans have told me as well. He's improving season by season.
Oh, yeah.
Every year he adds something. Every single year. Like he suddenly started dribbling a couple of years ago. Now he can just run through people. He can shoot. He can pass. He's taking corners.
So
He's got 3 assists.
Sorry to interrupt, lads. What the fuck Man United have just done? It was so funny. Like, this
Oh!
was hilarious!
That's actually a really
How
good
did
save.
that nearly end up as a goal? It's their, it was their goal kick. Harry Maguire does this little thing where he like knocks it to Onana. Onana plays it to the fullback, and the fullback just hands it straight back to Aston Villa and piles the pressure
Is that
on them.
Lindelof?
It's
Mate,
Lindelof.
it's
He's just come on.
shocking
Lindelof
football.
has just come
Do you know
on.
what? It was a good save, though.
Hold on.
Was that
We're
Lindelof?
saying that's a good save, and I'm not going to take the credit away. It was.
It's right,
If the goal goes in, we're going, oh my God, how has he not got
Oh,
to
it's
that
right at him.
straight
It's
at
right at him.
Straight at him. And we were saying this earlier. You know the save earlier?
It was right.
They were showing it
Yeah,
back
yeah,
in
yeah.
slow-mo, mate. That was for the cameras. He made a massive meal of that save.
Mate, I really don't understand what we've like. If you're a Man United fan, you're pulling your hair. This like, suicidal. football.
Villa should be getting back in this
Mate,
game.
if Villa don't score a goal
Yeah.
in this game, like
Yeah, then
Ollie
yeah.
Watkins.
Do you know
got
what
be
Emery needs
careful
to
going
say though? At half time, he goes, "You're not the goalkeeper. Just stick it either side of him. Stop sticking it on his chest, mate. Like it's fucking mental." But
Livramento, he won't be up there like for signing of the season, but
He
he's
doesn't
been
play
decent.
that much. Like,
Mate,
it's
mate,
a
I'm
good signing, but he doesn't
scarred.
play.
I'm scarred by watching Livramento sit on the bench. The guy's absolutely class.
Malo Gusto, that's up there.
Other options?
What about Vicario at Spurs? He's been
Brilliant.
absolutely brilliant.
Brilliant.
Goalkeepers. I mean, goalkeepers don't often win.
Petrovic. No, I'm not bantering. Petrovic, he's right up there. He's top 5.
Mate, I love all your options. I just don't think you can put Chelsea players
Genuinely,
up there,
if
to be
Villa
honest
don't
with
score soon,
Oh,
it's
well, we
gonna
won't put
be
Cole
mental.
Palmer in there then.
you. Cole's up there.
What about the
100%.
Liverpool signings? I mean,
Szoboszlai is
No,
there.
it was like
That's
the
good.
first 8 games we were going, God, that's an unreal signing. Now he's been a little bit
his stats have been quite
quieter.
average.
Liverpool
Yeah.
fans don't love him either. I think Liverpool fans would maybe say McAllister ahead of Szoboszlai.
Wow.
Oh, it's in
Oh,
behind. It's
yeah.
on Nacho. Got to turn him. He's turned him.
What has he
And
done?
he's fallen on his arse.
It's offside
Himself
anyway.
down.
Offside. Yeah, he was offside.
Should we give our player then? Who do you think?
Is that them all?
Also, when you talk
I
about
think
Declan Rice, that game that he scored the last minute goal against Luton, Ross Barkley took him to school that game.
I did, mate.
saying, you know.
No, he did. No.
This is why Ross deserves it. Like Ross deserves
No,
it.
Ross,
Right up
it is. Yeah, I honestly do think it's Ross Barkley. I wasn't saying it's trying to be
Ross
quirky.
Barkley.
No. You made good points as well.
Ross Barkley's got the highest take-on rate in the Premier League in terms of
Do
dribbling.
you know the thing I rate about Ross Barkley is that quite a lot of footballers have looked down their noses at clubs and fucked their careers.
And not gone and played.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
true. Good point.
They've sat on the sideline and thought, I'll wait until a better club likes me because I'm better than this. And because Ross Barkley didn't have that attitude, we're now all talking about potentially should he be in the England squad and all of that. And you know,
He should.
if he'd have played his cards the way other footballers like a Lingard maybe has,
Well, yeah.
he wouldn't be.
That's
be
the
spoken about
that's
that.
the example I
Hold
was
on.
going to say. He hasn't bankrupted
Oh.
Luton either. He hasn't bankrupted him. He's taken a humble wage there.
Yeah.
Solanke wasn't signed this season, was he? No.
Right,
Don't worry.
he's been great though.
He has been good. Yeah.
Go on, who,
Give him
who
it.
was saying? Who was
Let's give it to him.
Go on then,
So,
lads.
so you're
I'll go Solanke.
Are you saying Solanke?
No, he wasn't signed.
You say Ross Barkley.
Yeah.
I'll go Declan Rice.
I'll go Cole.
I'll go Maddison. I think in terms of all the players that you named, I think Maddison's impact on Spurs has been massive.
Madison.
I know he's been injured.
Is my second place.
I know.
If he stayed fit, he'd easily.
Yeah, but
yeah,
you got to look
yeah.
at when he's been
Yeah.
on the pitch. He's just been immense. For
Madison is
Who are you
class.
going with, Anana?
Madison.
You going Madison, yeah?
Mate, watching him,
He's
especially
class,
because
man.
Newcastle, you know, since we got the takeover, we were linked with him
So much.
constantly. And it's not just what he's done, it's the value for money, which you could argue Barkley clearly brings to the table. But in comparison to a lot of these other players, I think Madison's been outrageous, mate. He's controlled games, he's carved sides up. It's brutal watching him, knowing that we could have had him. Horrible.
40-odd million.
Mate,
Barkley was on a
we've
free.
spunked
Insane.
so
Barkley was
much.
on a free.
There you go. We do have to take the transfer fee into it. And
No,
he's
that's why.
been
That's why.
There
Declan's
is no
not in
fee,
my
mate.
thing.
He was on a
Well,
free.
exactly.
I mean,
That's
Bar-
why Declan's not in my. Is not my number one because he costs.
Yeah, you would
It's
want
100 mil,
you would want
you
him
gotta
to be
play
signing
like
the
that, yeah,
season.
yeah.
You spend 100 million on him.
Another rogue one, I'll just say, and I know it's another Luton player, but their goalkeeper, Kaminsky, he was £2.5 million. He's been brilliant as well.
he has
He's
been
kept them in a few games. their
Yeah,
goal-
but I've always thought he'd be good when he was at that other team before.
Yeah, you always rated him.
And the team, yeah.
Joey knows his stuff.
I've always been a big Kaminsky fan. Yeah.
No, I think it's quite clear that Madison's been the best out of those options.
We'll move on to Man City because they're apparently threatening legal action to the Premier League. Do you know the full?
Dictionary
I
corner.
do.
Go on.
They're so hard
Dictionary
done
corner,
by.
you're gonna call me Big Suits?
They are hard done by Man City, aren't they?
Oh, it's so unfair, isn't it? So we all know that the Premier League had a meeting on Wednesday and Thursday. We thought it was going to be related to FFP, so we were chatting and thinking that they were going to change all the rules with FFP.
We was quite excited, weren't we?
We were really
Yeah.
excited, and the big news out of that is there are going to be a few more community projects and this big news about sort of third-party associated clubs. So the news why Man City are so annoyed is that they maybe can't do some of the sponsorship things that they have been doing, allegedly.
So meaning, is that like when they own the company that sponsors Man City?
Exactly. So basically, the new rule changes that are being implemented by the Premier League, which Man City are apparently considering legal action for, is that you can't have, or there'll be limited impact of, third-party people being involved in companies that sponsor your football clubs, but also with some of the transfer dealing. So obviously, Man City have this ecosystem of football clubs. They've just signed Savio from Girona. Again, Girona having an amazing time in La Liga, and they've signed one of their better players in Savio. Apparently, some of the values haven't been quite fair in the past, and you'd understand why. Two happy teams together doing some dodgy deals. Not going to say it. You're not going to say anything related to Newcastle. I don't know why they're not threatening legal action. But,
we haven't done it yet. Because we're watching Man City like, yeah, this isn't gone so well for this lot. Maybe we just play by the rules.
But you have to say, like, those regulations are completely fair. Like, there should be a fair price that is agreed by the clubs, and it's not just some budget deal done because
Price
you're
for
doing
what, though?
for players. So if you're getting a player that, Man City end up paying £10 million for, but he's actually worth £50 million, there is something inherently unfair with that. And a lot of other clubs that can't afford to do this sort of like worldwide structure of acquiring lots of football teams are rightly annoyed at it because it's not fair, is it? Like basically you hoard all the talent in your club infrastructure and then you can't make, fair deals, outside the league. So I think there will be a lot of pressure. by Premier
I
League
think the
clubs
thing,
on
I don't know if I'm correct in what I'm saying here in terms of the sponsorship deals, but I think that's something that if that is the case where you're not allowed to have companies that you own also sponsor you.
It's that you're allowed to have them, but it has to be a fair rate. It can't be an overinflated
Yeah,
rate.
you could have
So
an
you can't-
inflated rate,
yeah.
and then it could,
If-
help
if-
your FFP, and you can.
Yeah, exactly. And no one's accusing any Saudi-related clubs of buying shirts.
Well,
and
ironically-
ships. No, we're not accusing any teams of that.
This
at
is the
all.
mental thing. This fucker supports Chelsea.
Yeah,
yeah,
we've actually got Saudi money in the consortium.
I haven't even killed anyone yet, and Jack the Ripper over here has pointed the finger. You fuck. Right.
How many players did you sell to Saudi in the summer?
Honestly.
Oh, don't worry
Oh,
about
let's
that.
not go into the
Don't worry about
details,
that.
mate. We're talking about them.
All Todd Bowley did is he went on a plane and had a chat with them. It's fine.
Look, I kind of agree to some extent that there should be rules and regulations.
You shouldn't.
But it's about this FFP thing that obviously is another level of, for me, control. Like, I think, all right, there needs to be a fair market price, but who the fuck decides that?
Exactly.
Do you know what's mental, by the way?
Where is the market price at
do you know
now?
what- do you know what-
Just let me finish one second. The fair market price is where it is now because Man City have been inflating it.
Yeah.
So, like, we're only here at this point now because of what's already
That's
happened.
so true, by the way. The Shakhtar owner, when they sold Mudryk, he kept saying, he was like, we want what they paid for Grealish. So it's like they were the ones who raised the rate.
Exactly.
How do you?
How do you
It's so
compete? Yeah, yeah.
subjective. How do you say he's not worth that? Well, what is he
Exactly.
worth? Who gets to decide what they are worth?
Do you know what they've been using? This is no joke. They've been using Transfermarkt.
Wow.
Like, I'm not even joking. They have actually been using that to determine fair rates.
Jesus.
Jesus.
That,
Even we don't use Transfermarkt, and we chat some shit.
Crossing out for a corner.
I'd be interested, right? You know, when we're saying about FFP here, I like personally, of course, I'd rather FFP wasn't really a thing. I liked it before it, but I support Chelsea. What do you feel about FFP? Because it's actually, as a Crystal Palace fan, right? It's actually the clubs lower down in the table that it's supposed to be there supporting and supposed to be there to help. Like, do you think FFP is doing a good job?
No, but it's just, I think things like that, the same way I think Kick It Out, they're just organisations to keep people like we're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
But there's ways to go around it. Do you know what I mean? There's ways to go around FFP. There's ways to go around all of that stuff. So I don't look at it like, oh yeah, man, it's good for us. Like the powers that be at the top, they don't play by the rules anyway.
So
So it's like
what I was sort of saying is, like, say for example, Newcastle, they should have been able to throw the checkbook at it, and they haven't been able to, right? And obviously that is
so
something.
my point is that tactically they will eventually.
Yeah.
In a tactical way, the same way City have. In a tactical way.
It's going to be
it's just a longer process.
It's going to be a lot harder.
No, it's going to be a lot harder. That's the thing, mate. It will be a lot harder. And maybe at some stage we will be on a competitive level with Chelsea, Man United, Man City financially. I think that could take decades.
You reckon it could take decades?
Yeah, because
I
of
think
the.
you're looking at 6 seasons or something.
Well, I don't. We could be in the middle somewhere, because the reason I believe so is you have to prove so much now that you are a club of that level, and the only way to do that is to what? Buy better players to get into the Champions League, to win.
Oh, Rashford!
Nice.
If you can't buy those players at light speed like clubs have done, then it's going to take a long time to prove that you deserve that level of money. Now, the interesting thing having a Crystal Palace fan at the table is, you now, if you get bought out, the idea of you're all of a sudden going to spend a load of money is non-existent. So the dream that fans used to have when we went before Newcastle were bought out, Crystal Palace and all of these sort of Norwich fans and whoever else, we one day want to be brought out by a billionaire, trillion, whatever.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't even matter anymore.
Well, it does a bit. I mean, like we've got a Palace fan at the table, right? And Newcastle and Palace were at similar places in the Premier League before the takeover. You guys have still got a Bruno Guimaraes, an Isak, a Tonali,
And do you know
a
what's
Botman.
happening? We're now being told we have to sell them all because we can't, because we're in so much debt, because we haven't been able to fudge the sponsorships in order to pretend like we are a club that is so that is even temporary.
I guess the complicated thing with you guys is it's almost like they've changed the rules just after you got the money. Just after you paid.
Just after you got the money.
It's still hard to know, because really, we're talking now, like that January transfer window just happened is the deadest transfer window that's ever happened in this world. Like they must have had to furlough the Sky reporters on deadline day, because there's no one there. There's no one there at Pope in here with a dildo at the grounds this year.
You were just about to say it, but at least you've had that and then you've accepted. But now we're going to have to sell them. If Palace,
they've had
The
so
final
many
pass.
chances.
No final pass.
No, that's a poor touch.
yeah,
though,
but
man.
I
it's a little
dunno.
bit quick for 'em. If Palace get bought out now, Palace will look at what Newcastle are in the situation of doing, how we're in a FFP situation where we're going to have to sell players, and they're probably going to be really sensible about it. And
Yeah.
there will be a bit of progress.
Even
but not
more,
much.
but even that's what I'm saying.
The progress has to be in relation to the amount of money the club make. It's nothing to do with the owners anymore. They've killed that.
Well, I guess what you do, like the basic rules, and Josh, I'll defer to Dictionary Corner on this at some point.
Susie.
Thanks, Susie. It's essentially £105 million a summer you can spend, right? That's
How much you can lose.
That's how much you can lose. So I guess from a Palace fan, and I'm speaking a lot on your behalf right now, right? I'm
Thank you for that, bro. Was it the white man talking to me?
No, God.
I knew you'd say that. But like, you don't get 105 million quid every summer now.
Yeah.
So at least you get that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of clubs in the league who would look at Newcastle and go, I get that you've not been able to do the Robinho Man City madness that you thought you would, and it is crazy that the rules have only come in halfway through you guys trying to do what you're trying to do. But there's a lot of clubs in the league who don't have that 105 million quid.
I'm not disputing that it's better than what it was, but the point is it's not what it could be, and it's not even close to that. So
Yeah, no,
before,
it's not-
it was
it's-
you are going to get a trophy. Now there is fucking no guarantee of anything for Newcastle.
Yeah.
At all. And if anything,
You have to play it smart.
it's going to take a long time. And now because to be honest with you, I just wanted to know we're going to win a fucking trophy in my life.
You know the interesting
That's
thing
all
about the
I wanted.
trophy thing, and it's interesting watching.
That's why I take Mourinho, because I'm like, that motherfucker wins you a trophy.
So I think, my little theory, I think a lot of.
Oh my God, Man United again. It's mad watching Man United win games week in, week out, and they're playing so shit, man. It's unbelievable.
A lot of upper mid-level Premier League clubs are going to get trophies that they haven't had in a long time soon because of that Europa Conference League thing. Aston Villa, who we're watching right now, who, you know, they're cutting through Man United at will, but they can't finish, right? And they're probably missing a couple of players, blah, 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 blah. But part of the problem for Villa this season, they're competing in two competitions which they've never had to do before, right? I would put a house on this team winning the Europa Conference League with Emery at the helm, who's won a lot of European tournaments. With they've got so much more money. They've got such more expensive players than any other team in that tournament. And whoever qualifies for Conference League, whoever finishes 7th this season, which Brian may well be Newcastle.
Oh, fuck off! I don't want that shit.
Well, mate, you want a trophy?
You want a trophy?
You want a trophy?
You would celebrate your heart out
No,
if
I wouldn't.
you won
I
a
wouldn't.
trophy.
You would
know,
celebrate,
It would
bro.
low-key annoy me. It would annoy me.
Is it worse? Is it worse than not having one?
No, it is. It is. I'll tell you why. Because 1955, I think it was, when we last won a fucking proper trophy. For our first one to be back, to be that, I want it to be an FA Cup or a Europa League would be great because it does have some prestige.
West Ham loved it.
I'd quite like one.
West Ham
As a
loved
Chelsea
it.
fan, I'd quite like
West Ham,
Conference
You
League.
Jack, mate.
cheeky
Well, I
bastard.
never, do you know what? Yeah,
You
I've
loved
never.
it.
Sat there with two Champions League going, I quite like it.
When we sing, we've won it. Oh, I don't join in no more. No, don't join in.
So
Not
good.
now that Conference League's there. Let me get relegated, win the Johnson's Paint Trophy, and then I'll join back in.
It's not that I don't want the Conference League. I want an FA Cup or something legit.
Yeah.
And then if we win that, I'm like, oh yeah, it's another one, great. But like, I don't know. I'd much rather it be an FA Cup.
Mate, as the seasons
Oh my
go
God.
on, I'll tell you now, as the seasons go on, and we start to see the winners' names on that Conference League trophy,
Yeah,
I'm telling you, in a
it'll hold more
decade, that'd be a. I ain't saying it's going to be a Champions League, but it'd be a little
hold
bit more
more
of a
weight,
legit.
yeah.
Because I can remember a time, even like. You know when Fulham got to the Europa League final, it was a bit like it was a big deal for
UEFA
them,
Cup.
but it was a bit like you know what I mean. Whereas it's now, it's like Europa League's decent,
But
man.
I guarantee now, in 10 years' time, every name on that trophy will be English. Every
Do you
time.
reckon?
Yeah, but what's your
Because-
point? Is your point that we
My
shouldn't
point-
be that we shouldn't be right up there?
This is
Are you
tough,
saying that the Premier League's money is not fair?
My point is that a 7th placed English team is better than every equivalent in Europe.
Yeah, but we've run our league better. Like we've generated more income.
I'm not saying it's
for right- for the
unfair.
right
I'm not
reasons.
saying it's
Yeah,
unfair,
yeah.
but I'm just saying it's going to look a bit daft because it's always going to be a West Ham. Brighton will probably get one. Newcastle will likely get one. Do you know what I mean? You'll get one at some. Every team around that level in England will win the Europa Conference League in the next 10 years. I guarantee it. And if you're a Villa fan right now, like you're booking the day off for the trophy parade already because they will win that Conference League. I mean, I'll stick money on it today. 50 quid, do it.
Go on, we'll have a score.
have a
Let's
bet.
have a score. Let's have a score.
We'll have
Go
a
on.
score now. I think they'll do it.
I think they'll do it too.
And
So who's paying?
Yeah. I'd say if they don't win it, I'll get the Emery haircut done. I'll get the slick back Emery
Yeah.
cut for,
Fucking would love
for the
that.
first kick-off of the season next year.
Fuck me, I'd pay to see.
There he is, old Southgate.
Oh, he's
back
at the gate.
his old stomping
Why is he
ground.
not? Why is he not in Holland?
Oh yeah. He's taken the time off of
They played
stalking
yesterday.
Jordan Henderson. Actually, the rumours are he will stay on now. 4 more years of Southgate.
Can you imagine?
How can you like make that decision before even seeing how this tournament goes? Like, if we go out in the groups, I know it's
They
not
love
likely
it.
we will, but
The FA love it. Like, don't
The
they?
FA are just
he
like-
is an FA's wet dream.
He's,
Yeah, yeah,
he's not a pedo. Let's keep him.
Yeah.
Like the low standards of the FA
He
are
has not
mental.
pedoed anyone yet.
Yeah. We did actually get a complaint from his son once about this bashing of him on the show. No, personally, I do want to know what you think about it, because some people are really pro Southgate because they're like, never let England down. We, in context, we did really well. But, I think most people accept that the players we have now are right up there with the best assembly of squad players we could get in international football for a long, long time. Watching Harry Kane smashing it in the Bundesliga, even if they are second. Jude Bellingham, top goal scorer in La Liga. And the level of talent just throughout that squad. Surely we should be expecting to win this. And with
No,
him,
you're right.
I don't know if I feel like we can with him.
But
I
the
really
reason
don't.
why is because I never watch England where we play like we can win. We always play not to lose or play to get a
Exactly.
result. We don't play like the game against Italy in the Euros. I would never forgive Southgate for that, and I was backing Southgate to that. But you go 1-0 up, I'm thinking, oh, we're gonna batter these.
Yeah.
And then we just sat back
We
for
should
the
have.
whole time.
We should have battered them.
Yeah, we just
should've.
sat back, and then they get playing. Before you know it, they're back in the game, and they obviously they got quality players. But I think if we go with the mentality like play our best players, play attacking players, we'll win easy.
Yeah, but if we're 2-3 up by the time they get back in that game, it's too late. Damage is done. Then we can sit back and defend.
Yeah, exactly.
I think you can be somewhere in the middle because I'm not like Southgate out. I don't love
Yeah,
him.
me
I don't
too, yeah,
hate
me
him.
too, yeah.
I think Southgate's done a good job, man. I think-
Surely it's in.
Oh
Wow.
my
I
God!
can't believe the state of this. Like,
Look at that,
Look
man.
at that. Shimmy.
Shimmy.
Love it.
Look at that. Look at
Nice.
that.
Hey, by the way, they deserve that.
bro, they deserve about 4.
100%.
Like,
They deserve that.
but this is the thing. Against West Ham, it was exactly the same last week. They just couldn't stick the ball in.
They
the
got to go on and win this now.
Oh, they have.
They need
Well,
to go on and win
that
this.
stadium will be rocking now.
Mate, I can't, like, Man United were really aggressive in that first 5-10
Yeah,
minutes. And then they've just done nothing since the goal. They've invited them on.
I tell you what, I cannot believe they have just stolen Chelsea's badge like that. I know this is old news, but that is awful, isn't it? That's so bad, that Villa badge. Have you
Good
seen
finish.
it?
That's, yeah, it's mad.
It is a carbon copy of the Chelsea badge.
And they're well higher than you in the league.
Yeah,
that was
exactly.
brilliant.
How's this first one not gone in though? Oh,
Because it's elite goalkeeper.
Mate,
That's
oh,
why.
no, what a guy.
that's a good finish though.
I love he always does that, Anana, doesn't he? After the goal goes in, it's like some sort of
Yeah.
claim. What are you claiming for?
Yeah.
He leaves his hand up there just to
Gotta be
show on the
something.
replay.
Is he doing the shimmy too or no?
I'm not gonna lie. That is one of my favourite celebrations of the Premier League.
He
this season.
literally does a Francis Ngannou. When Francis Ngannou dropped Tyson Fury, did the exact same shit over his dead body. Well, he did get up, bless him.
That is a brilliant celebration.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything like that. I love it.
He weren't feeling it.
Let's see how Man United respond because they've been so flat since they scored, in my opinion.
But it's kind of ironic that Andrew's talking about the England-Italy game where England scored first and then just fucking fell asleep. And
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
exactly the same what Man United have done today.
Literally.
If we were going to sack him, then lads, if
Yeah.
he was gone and you were replacing someone to come in for the Euros,
Yeah.
I've
Who would
had
you
my
want?
say.
I'll try to do what the Ivory Coast do and try and learn a manager and get Pep in. Try and learn him in for that
Mate,
summer.
I'll tell you what though, if we do go and win this, I know Southgate will get the credit, but Pep's played a massive, massive hand in it anyway. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like-
in what way?
I thought Craig weren't here
Calvin
today. What's
Phillips.
going on?
Calvin Phillips, mate.
No, but I just think like not just in terms of the players that are playing in the England, like not just the John Stoneses of the
Yeah.
world and whatnot, just in terms of like the standard of
Standard of
the league
football,
as a
yeah,
result of Pep
Pep
Guardiola
Guardiola,
being in there and the standard we've elevated them to. Carl Walker, John Stones, there are key players that are in there. Jack Grealish, you don't know whether he's going to be in the team or not.
Calvin
But
Phillips.
But you're just saying, the standard of English football raised
Yeah.
because of him.
Yeah.
yeah, I would say.
But,
so,
then,
yeah.
but then the irony, and I'm not disagreeing with Johnny, the irony to that is our two best players don't play in the Premier League anymore. Bellingham and Kane.
Yeah.
For me, they're the two first names on the team sheet.
100%.
I mean,
And you know, I'd play.
free.
I'd play.
Henderson,
yeah.
you can chuck him in there.
oh, fuck
Well,
off.
but you know he's going to play,
He will
Brian.
play.
You know
He
he's
will.
going to.
He'll be in the squads.
I guarantee
So,
he starts.
who's your midfield three?
I love this.
My midfield three. Okay. No, I've got
So
an
who's the
answer.
third guy?
So we're all saying like Declan Rice at the base,
Yeah.
Bellingham at the
Yeah.
top. My third guy, Curtis Jones.
I'm going with Thing, you know. I'm either going
Thing, yeah?
Foden or Madison.
Sounds a great idea.
Thing.
Foden or Madison? Wow.
I'm going Foden or Madison.
But
don't
then
think
do you
they're
not think
attacking
we're
enough.
trying to do a bit more, like, bit too much
Too
the
attacking.
Sven Goran Eriksson style, where you're putting a player there because he's a good player, but it's not ideally his position.
That's not
like-
good.
No, but
I'm going
you didn't play
Trent.
2 10s. You wouldn't play
Trent.
2 10s.
No, because Bellingham's not a Bellingham's
Bellingham's an
Be-
8. Is an 8.
Well,
eight
he's
and a half.
basically a 9
I
at Madrid,
think
like-
that the pool of players you would say would fall into being a natural in that position would be a Curtis Jones, maybe a Conor Gallagher, maybe Kobe Mainu. So I'd maybe say Kobe Mainu.
Is it in
You'd
the
start Kobe Mainu.
Play free.
Start Mainu.
Mate,
I really like
Calvin
him, by the
Phillips
way.
has got more chance of starting than Kobe Mainu.
He's got more chance. That doesn't mean it's right.
No, but it's what we're doing, right?
So, yeah.
So okay. So would you call? You
No,
said
I'd
me?
go Gallagher.
Well, that's show.
Gallagher.
Go on,
That's
that's
what I mean.
Should have scored. He did everything right apart from the finish. That was good for him, like.
Eze, I mean, he's had caps.
Woo!
He has had caps. He has had caps now.
Yeah, what a baller that guy is.
Can we say?
Yeah, he's my cousin. Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, sick.
Oh, crazy. I'll put him in.
I mean, I genuinely.
Could have brought some merch along with you.
Actually, that's kind of fucked that you didn't put your cousin in the team.
It's fine. I'll put him in straight away, bro.
Buy shit Christmas presents.
Yeah.
It is an awkward one though, because I don't think we have that that one player screaming like Kobe Mainoo's playing well generally, but like putting a kid in that level of responsibility for the same reason I'd worry about putting Lewis Miley in there. Like young players lose their position more than experienced.
Yeah,
pros
no, I
do.
hear that.
They just do.
So who is the standout?
But I like,
Not just who we pick.
I want to see
then.
Foden.
By that logic,
Foden
like,
in the 10.
I've always thought that
I would
way,
argue
Foden.
it's an 8 that's up for
Yeah,
grabs.
what
not a
formation are you
10.
playing?
Like,
Yeah, but
I
you-
would
you-
argue
I'm playing
in our
4-3-3.
setup.
Do you not think Jude plays in the 8?
Jude right now for Real
Right
Madrid
now
is
he's a
bombing.
nine.
Real
Right now
Madrid,
he's a nine.
he's yeah.
If
Doesn't
we're
mean that's where you
playing
should
players
play.
in their strong positions, Jude is all
No,
over.
no,
I would say if you
No,
look
I
at the
think-
system
I
that
think
we
Jude
set
plays
up
in the
with as a national team, I would say that the position that is up for grabs is an 8.
Agreed.
Agree.
So if we're
Wow,
going
I
an
disagree
8,
with that. So I
if
would've
we're going an 8, then I think we're looking at, as I say, maybe Conor Gallagher, Curtis Jones, Mainu.
I think Jones stands out because I think positional fit, but also, mate, ask any Liverpool fan. He's been their best midfielder this season. They're going to win 2 trophies.
Ask any Liverpool fan, they'll put Trent in that position over Curtis Jones, 100%.
I would have Trent there.
I like
but
it.
I just think it's unrealistic.
Surely Villa have got to score. No, they fucked it again.
He just
man.
hasn't done it enough, Josh. Trent hasn't done it enough.
Mate, do you know what though? For England, like when he's played in that position, he has looked pretty good.
No, I know, but
He has
No,
looked,
I can't
and
lie.
also when you
Trent though is a baller.
He is a baller.
Don't you? I'm not saying I wouldn't.
no, you
start
wouldn't.
him.
Where,
you
where,
wouldn't.
where,
You wouldn't
where?
start him at
He's
right
not
back.
going to start
You
though,
wouldn't.
for right
Where
back,
would
is he?
he
Why wouldn't I start him at right back?
Because Kyle Walker's
Carl
not.
Walker's going to play,
By the way,
Gareth
Carl,
Tate.
or Trippier.
by the way, Carl Walker, one of the goats, man. Man had a whole scandal in that, still putting out 8 out of 10. I love that, bro.
I know,
But
mate.
enough about the
Nothing,
women.
nothing affects him. Nothing affects
No,
his
no,
performance,
I
bro.
agree, mate. Rashford can't play with a hangover.
Yeah.
Fucking Carl
Yeah,
Walker
no.
plays with a second family, mate. He's unbelievable.
Legend.
If anything, it's more motivation because he needs the money.
But, yeah.
No, what I would say is Trent for
Never
me.
exposed himself on the pitch.
Trent is the best footballer I've heard named so far in terms of just and like you'd think.
Well, you play him in the
In the eight,
Normally, I hate playing players out of position, but Trent. There's a reason why he's breaking records from with assists from right back. Right, he can do everything. If anything, I think we've been holding him back as a right back in a way. Like I could easily have seen him as a right-sided central midfielder in that David Beckham for Real Madrid
Yeah.
role. I've always thought he was made for that, and actually it exposes him less as a fullback. So I wouldn't have a problem
But
with
it
that.
goes
go with
against
that. I'll go with
everything
that.
that Southgate
Fuck it.
stands for. Having like,
Yeah.
Southgate is a butter pasta.
He's a
man.
missionary
Like,
type of guy.
he-
But
that is what he is. If he orders a curry, he'll have a butter chicken and he'll probably pour some milk in it still.
I know
Like,
what you mean.
Southgate
He's
is
safe.
not.
He's a safety man.
He would never ever do that.
Brian,
Just
what's
way
your,
too.
what's your call? Who's your third midfielder
What
for England?
order? No. Third midfielder, Trent.
Yeah, but if you would play Trent in the 8, why wouldn't you play Jude in the 8 and play a Madison or a Foden? in the 10?
Because Jude is too effective as a 10.
He's the best player in the world. You just have to, you just literally have to sit him down for England and go, whatever the fuck you've been doing in Spain, just
You know,
do that.
I understand
I'm
what
not playing the 10.
I understand what you're saying, yeah. But I just think Jude. When I look at Jude, yeah, he's the kind of player where I just look at. I don't even know what he's great at. He's just a sick footballer.
Scoring goals.
He's just a
But you know,
baller.
you know,
He's a
you know
baller,
that
he
Winter
balls
World
out.
Cup just gone. He sort of did play in that position we're saying about, and I would argue, as good as he was, we didn't really see the best out of him. We didn't
Because
see
he was
these
playing
real,
in the 8.
we,
yeah,
we
that's
didn't see
what you're
these
saying.
real
So
Madrid
you're saying if he
levels.
plays a bit higher.
I think you play him in the 10.
Well, I think there was one game where we did see the best. I think was it Colombia where Henderson started of all people, and I thought that was his best game because he had Henderson and
no,
Rice
that was
with
the Senegal.
Senegal.
Yeah,
That's
Because he was
sorry,
allowed to bomb forward.
He was allowed to bomb forward because he had Henderson.
The,
I hear
the
what you're
stats, he's got 16 goals in 21 games for
Mad,
Real
mad,
Madrid.
mad, mad.
So let him play as that 10. And
Well, yeah, he plays at the tip of a diamond for Madrid.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's 10 really, and it's yeah.
I think if you got 2 3-8s with Trent as a sort of the deeper one of those, and you have Bellingham bombing on, arriving late into the box, that is the way to go. You don't actually, and I don't think
You
Southgate
start
will do. I don't think Southgate will play like an out and out number 10. If you look at the way that he plays football, he will never do that.
No,
Rob.
yeah.
He
That's what
doesn't
you're saying.
favour Foden. He doesn't favour Madison.
he doesn't like players who take risks at all.
He doesn't like those sort of
I
Gaza-esque
just don't
sort
see
of
how
mercurial talents.
Madison, the way he's playing, he would.
Well, the thing is, we've
He
seen.
would be so
He
good.
just unlocks so much in that.
Could
in
you
a
play
tournament
Madison
like
off the left?
Well, he's tried that.
He's
Southgate tried that. It
He's
doesn't
tried
work.
It don't work, bro. And I don't even like Foden off the left because at City it's different because the players are so interchangeable. In England, they're not. That's why Saka comes in the team and does really
Nacho.
well.
Ooh.
Yeah, because he's just an out-and-out.
Yeah, yeah. That's why
I
he
think
came
we have
in.
to accept that Southgate is not going to take many chances, and it is going to come down to one or two players who can play in that role.
He'll play.
Bellingham will be there, Rice will be there, and it's one other guy.
It's going to be Calvin Phillips.
Yeah,
Oh, it'd be awful.
it probably
God.
will.
He's
I'm
had
not-
a-
No, but it will. He will start.
He has
I-
had
I-
a stinker since moving to West Ham.
Bro, you
hasn't
can't stop losing, man.
Yeah, it'll be Henderson, I think.
He's
I
getting
think it'll be
hammered.
Oh,
Henson hasn't started recently. Like,
What,
I'd play Barkley over
for
Henderson.
Ajax.
No,
I-
for
Yeah,
England.
you're riding this Barkley
Yeah,
train,
yeah,
though,
yeah.
bro. No, but I agree. I play Barkley.
Yeah.
Well, in the front three for England, then we know it's going to be Kane up top and Saka on the right. Who's your left winger for England?
I've said it a few times now, and now I've started saying this. I'm like warming to the idea, but I
Who's
don't
it,
know
Ross
whether
Barkley?
I sound crazy. I would go No. He might not even be on the plane, the player I'm about to say now. Something about having Anthony Gordon over on that other side. So again, Saka, Kane, Gordon.
He's got to
got to score
that.
Saka,
man.
Kane, Gordon really excites me.
Gordon, yeah?
After watching Gordon for Newcastle this season on that left side, I don't see why any player should start over him on the
Really?
If you was a defence, would that not scare the life out of you?
Part of the
Saka,
reason is
Kane,
that
Gordon.
the thing that I know
I think
Gordon,
Rashford will start there.
I know Gordon's a bit of a he's got a bit of aggression
No,
to
I'm
his
not saying
game.
he should, but I think
One
he
at a
will.
time, lads. I'm thinking that for me, Gordon, he does the off-the-ball running that Rashford consistently hasn't done this season. His numbers on the ball have been consistently better than Rashford. Rashford is actually more predictable than Gordon this season. Everything I'm watching Gordon do is better than Rashford.
Well, I think
He's faster than him. He's crosses. He's assists. There's not a thing that Rashford's got him on right
It
now.
suits the balance of that front three as well, because I think both Saka and Kane like to be playmakers. So I think if you've got a left winger who goes behind,
Yep.
it suits what they want to do.
I think if you haven't been watching Newcastle a lot this season and you've watched Rashford for his whole career, you'll think I'm mental because Rashford's talent level is outrageous on his day. But this season, this is the first proper goal Gordon's ever had with a settled side, consistently good coaching. We all know what Everton's been like for the last few years. He's delivering in every game.
And if you say that about exactly what you said there about having a runner in behind, Foden doesn't do that, really.
No.
Grealish doesn't do that, really. Rashford, yeah, I accept, can, but obviously when you're looking at the form, it's like...
Look at that goal he scored against Man City, right? We all look at the technique of Foden, and look, Foden's a better footballer with the ball at his feet than probably any player other than Bellingham in that team, arguably. But Gordon has it as well as the physical side of the game, and is the tenacity.
I would, on the left, I would definitely play Gordon over Foden. I don't think Foden does well as a front three in England because England are so stiff in their positions, where City is calm because they just interchange. So, yeah.
Imagine Gordon, Saka, Kane and Bellingham as a front four. That is fucking terrifying.
Physically, that's
Physically as well,
unstoppable.
yeah.
They've got everything as a
And then
four.
Kane dropping in.
I look at Rashford as just a weak link outside of Gordon. I think Rashford would let you down.
So would anyone argue, are we going with Gordon there, or would anyone argue they would rather have someone else?
I think a lot. It's
that
hard.
position just doesn't stand out to me. So if you went Gordon, I wouldn't be crazy. If someone said Rashford, I wouldn't be.
It's hard because I agree with all the theory of all of what you've said, and I've added to it. But I still just think Foden's such a good footballer. You have to put him on the pitch.
No, I agree.
What's Foden's best position?
I don't know.
There you go.
Mate,
And that's why he's in trouble because he hasn't managed to do that yet at City.
Well, Brian, what's Bernardo Silva's best position?
I mean, an eighth.
There you go. Well,
Aston Villa breaking here.
Villa.
Come on, a bit.
Everyone's getting the ball stuck in their
wow.
feet, man.
Man United have
The
scored.
clinicalness in
This
front
is
of
it.
goal today
Glad they
from
brought
both
him.
sides has just been poor.
I see Bernardo and Foden as very similar, and I think it completely leads to Andrew's point of being like, are they midfielders? Are they wingers? Do they just fit into Pep's system? I watched Bernardo Silva play left back against
where would you
Arsenal
play
last
him?
year. Who,
Foden.
Foden? Or what, for England?
I would love
Yeah?
to see. I would
You
love
look at you asking
No,
questions.
it's true.
What,
It's
for
a good
England?
question.
What? On the cup? What, with Gareth Southgate? Yeah, mate. Where would you play him?
No, honestly, it's a good question. 'Cause I would love to see
On a football field.
What, for England?
Where would you play him?
I would just love to see Foden in a 10
Tough
for
crowd.
England.
Yeah.
But when you got Bellingham, it's
It's
got to
not
be
happening,
Bellingham.
is it?
I guess what I'd say is what I'd like for England is if you could play Foden and Saka either side of Kane, and they could swap around a bit, and they could move around a bit, and it could be a bit more flow. But what I do think you'd need is a left back who goes outside of him, because you don't want Foden hugging a touchline, and we know it's going to be Kieran Trippier.
Oh, well,
So-
if we can't agree, we just stop Barkley there.
I
Stick a
do.
pin in it.
I
There
can't
is an
argue
argument
against
called
Foden because he's such
Yeah.
a good footballer.
Yeah.
I just don't think. I have a feeling that Southgate. I don't know if he likes him enough. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I agree.
I think those players who are
Foden, Trent, there's a few like that. You just don't feel like Southgate.
he just doesn't like them, right?
Just don't
Madison as well.
Yeah, for the
Madison's
same reason, Madison's another one. I just feel like Gordon is more of a reliable guy that Southgate will take to. But then again, I look at Gordon's tenacity, and I look at him, and I think Sir Alex Ferguson would have fucking loved you. You're a Fergie player, but Southgate, I don't know. I have no idea what he'll make of him.
Do you think that he'll take Gordon?
If he doesn't, he wants his fucking head looked at.
But,
What more does he do?
But do you actually think he'll take him?
I'd be, he has to. I mean, that would be mental.
What are the other options out there? Because you got Rashford,
Grealish,
yeah.
You
Oh,
got
fuck me.
Jared Bowen.
Well, Jared Bowen, by the way, they're going to be West Ham fans screaming at their screen right now,
Stats-wise.
being like, stats-wise, he's the best goal scorer out of all of the players you're talking about.
I mean, he's
But
in the squad already now. Like at the
I
last
don't have a
squad he was
problem
there.
with Bowen, but I think Bowen's position.
he's a right winger.
Yeah,
isn't he?
Cole Palmer's going?
Sterling.
I don't know if
Sterling.
Cole Palmer goes, you know, but I think that
Cole
would be
Palmer
mad.
has to go.
I don't know
though.
if he goes.
Palmer
I don't
goes.
think Southgate picks him.
Great penalty taker.
Go on, Josh, who's your pick? Left winger for England?
I probably can I give what I think Southgate would do, or do you want my pick?
No,
'Cause
I
if
want
it was
your
like-
pick.
if it
I
was-
want your pick. Josh, fucking
done
Brian
that.
got me. Brian got me with that shit.
If it
You're
was
not
my
getting out of
pick,
this.
if it was my pick, I probably would go Foden. If it was Southgate's pick, I think he would probably go with Grealish.
I think you might be right, yeah.
Fucking
But then even
Oh, why are you
Grealish
saying
has
that?
been a bit
Grealish
funny
is
with.
sick, bro.
No, but he's not playing.
Gordon's goals and assists.
Grealish is pretty good though.
It's 7 goals, 5 assists in 22. So it's
Who's that?
Gordon. So it's 7 goals, 5 assists. So it's 12 goal contributions in 22 games for Newcastle. And to be fair, it's
And
been a
Newcastle
pretty
have-
difficult
have- yeah,
season.
haven't been great, yeah.
And there's been so you watched him. He scored against Arsenal, scored against Man United, scored against Man City. He's a big game player, Gordon, and he has this thing that when he does score, he's got that arrogance of like, yeah, fucking course I scored
against Chelsea,
And
didn't
and that's like, I'm looking at him going, you have all the makings of a top player here, and if anything. My worry with Newcastle is, are we big enough for you in the future?
Really?
Because I think he is going to the top.
Do you know who he suits? He suits
I'm
Liverpool.
going to say it, right?
He suits
He does
Liverpool.
suit
Right away, at the very top.
Right to the
right? In the words of Harry Redknapp.
There's a good reason he'll never play for Liverpool, but he suits Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? The way he
Mate,
plays
he's exactly
football.
like a
Yeah.
top player, for sure. Yeah.
So, I know everything you're saying about.
You could say Foden's just a better footballer. I can't argue with that.
But this,
Foden's class.
I think this is what
Yeah, but
England do wrong now. I think what I'm saying is what England
Square
do wrong.
pegs, round holes.
Exactly. I think you just go, well, just put the best players on the pitch. Whereas actually, I think you should do a system that functions.
That's what Sven-Goran Eriksson religiously cost us for,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah, playing Scholes
like
left mid.
consistently trying to play Scholes on the left,
I
which was
mean,
fucking mental.
If we're going on our best players, Tony should be up front with Kane, shouldn't he? Should be a two up top.
Ooh, I haven't.
If you're going for the best
I haven't
players,
Tony never playing for England, innit?
yeah.
Come on, man.
If you're going with putting the best player, you have to just do whatever better.
You know when we say that thing. You know when we say that thing about Sven-Goran Eriksson putting Scholes left mid. Can anyone name a standout left mid from that